3, 2.
We're going. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the High Button podcast, as we like to call it. Great feeling being back in this chair, talking into this microphone, having everyone listen, watch, whatever it may be, interacting. We just got back from the great comedy fest outdoors. We just got our new High Button Sports t-shirts in that actually are available online right now. And wearing that t-shirt around the crowd, having people say, hey, nice podcast, High Button Sports, yada, yada. It was a great feeling. So overall, just a great weekend. My brother came in from Bridgewater. I don't get to see him a lot. So having him stay here, got a round of golf in on Saturday. It was just, you talk about these magical weekends that happen. I don't know, 4 or 5. How many weekends are in a year?
52 weeks in a year.
So 52 weekends in a year. So, that was just one of those magical weekends that happens, maybe 5 times out of the 52 weekends out of the year, right? So really special, really special. How was your weekend, Jeff?
It was all right. Not as memorable, but managed to pitch my softball team to 2 victories. So that was the highlight of my weekend.
Don't sell yourself short, man. That's great. That's good stuff.
It actually is pretty nice. I've never been a pitcher, so to be 24 and getting to, try to lead a team like that for the first time, it's fun.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So your weekend, though, big one. Break it down.
Well, in terms of my weekend, I like to break down my life into 2 categories. Have fun, work hard. Maybe a couple more other categories, but it sounds cool when I say that. Have fun, work hard. I was faced with a challenge. Fiance to fiance. Sarah challenged me one day. We came home from the cottage. I think it was Friday. Ton of rain. Water came in to the basement, aka the studio. And I was faced with a challenge. Either man up, fix it, or keep coming home and laying out towels and mops and soaking it up every single time.
Dehumidifier for like 12 hours.
It smells. I don't, a little moist basement. Everyone listening knows what that smells like. So she put down the gauntlet. Fiance to fiance. She went upstairs. I sat down here in the basement by myself in the dark, and I thought about it for a minute. And this is a time where, I'm not saying I'm not a man. I am a man. But these are the moments where men come alive. So I sit, I think. You go, Justin, what kind of man are you? Are you a man that's going to sit here and not come up with a solution? Or are you going to be the type of man that just lets it keep happening and you're going to have to keep sweeping, mopping, getting the dehumidifier up? And I made the right decision. I said, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to come up with a solution. And I know we posted a video a couple of weeks ago, people saying put a sub pump in, it'll get all the water out. And I finally took those people's advice and I manned up and I did it. Was it fun? No. I had to dig a hole that was about 2 feet deep to install the sub pump in the rain, in the mud. Got a little mud on the tires. What's that song? Get a little mud on the tire.
I think you got it. Yeah.
So I got a little mud on the tire because it was wet. Dug 2 feet deep, but eventually got it done. I think I posted a picture about it on our Instagram.
Yeah. You had the mud wipe on the face. Kind of the rough and tough blue collar look going to you.
Put a little mud on the tire. Yeah. So it was a muddy day. Neighbors walking by looking at me like, isn't that the guy that does the podcast? Why is he working with his hands? I'm not afraid to get a little dirty.
It was a solo job?
Yeah. There's boulders down there, rocks. I don't know if you've ever dug in Nova Scotia, but as soon as you go a foot down, it's all rock. So I'm lifting boulders, rocks. I'm cutting myself. I'm pulling muscles. I'm rain. People think I'm crying, but it's just rain coming down my face. Mud all over the house. Just grinding through this.
Show must go on.
And eventually it was time to put in the sub pump. Put it in, installed it, dug out a drain. I'm not going to go over the details of what it takes to put in. All good?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into the details of what it takes to install a sub pump, but no, it's pretty much impossible and only few can do it, and just know that I did do it. That's not actually true. Anyone can do it. But once it was complete, you look at it and you go, okay, you get some sense of satisfaction. You go, okay, I did it, sure. But you're not truly satisfied until Mother Nature herself comes and tests you and that sub pump out.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the sub pump have had a couple conversations before last night's rain. You know, I prayed to it, piece of plastic. I know it sounds stupid, but if that sub pump works, my life all of a sudden becomes a lot easier, because I travel a lot for work, and you know, when I'm away, it's tough for her to, you know, shovel the basement if there's tons of water. I can't just leave her here with a basement that's flooded. I remember last year that sucked. So having a solution was key this year for my peace of mind and for me to be able to work. I don't want to come down here, have a bunch of work to do, and then all of a sudden I'm cleaning up water. That's not productive for me. It's not productive for the people listening. It's not productive for anyone. So what I had to do was be proactive. I had to get ahead of the problem. That's what proactive means, Jeff. Sip of my coffee. Last night, I know we've had a ton of rain. Floods, you know, just awful. And last night, I don't know if there's floods this morning, but last night, maybe 2 hours of sleep. Tons of thunder.
Really?
You didn't hear that last night?
No, I was conked out, buddy.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you do physical labor, though. That's different.
Yeah, I guess.
When I did physical labor, I slept the best. Like when I did landscaping, I slept like a baby. I could sleep through anything. But now, I don't, so I don't get the
You're
best
doing
sleep.
mental labor now.
Mental labor, sure. But last night, I got things running through my head. One, is that sub pump going to work? Mm-hmm. Two, is this thunder going to, you know, stop? And three, is this lightning going to stop? None of those things happened. The rain kept coming. The thunder kept coming. The lightning kept coming. So my mind was racing. So what do? 2:30 in the morning, I run downstairs to check out the sub pump. Butt naked, not really, had a towel on. To check the sub pump. And behold, I open the door. You think you're opening the door to heaven, but really you're opening the door to the sub pump working. Play that clip now. And if you're listening, you're just going to have to go to our Instagram page and look at the clip there. I look at it and I have the most satisfaction I've had in a long time. There's things in my life that I've achieved, that I've accomplished, that, you know, that I'm pretty proud of. But oddly enough, that sub pump is one of the more prouder moments that I've had in a long time. Like, it's up there. Growing up, I'm not I don't know how to fix a car. You know, I'll admit it. I can barely change a tire on a car. I'm not the biggest grease monkey. I know how to work hard, but I need direction. Does that make sense? Like, I know how to, obviously, high button sports, I know what to do in every aspect. But in terms of like working with my hands, I'll admit, I'm not the best. But you give me direction on how to do it, I promise you I will get it done. But in terms of the sub pump, I had no direction. All I had was YouTube, my two hands, and my head.
And a guy on Instagram?
Well, it was multiple people on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of people reached out and said, do the sub pump, do the sub pump. So, in my heart, I had my heart too. So all those things combined gave me the motivation to put in that sub pump. And last night, 2:30 in the morning, I opened that door and I heard it go wee, meaning the water's pumping out. Wee.
Yeah.
And I just sat there for a minute, you know, butt naked, just looking at this thing, and I felt like a kid again. I just was so happy. It was working. My hard-earned sweat, blood. I did cut myself a little bit, so there was blood. Mm-hmm. No tears, but it was raining, so it might have looked like I was crying, but I did it. And if you've never experienced that moment, I hope that everyone listening, watching, whatever it may be, I hope that you get to experience this, because it was one of the most magical moments of my life. I manned up, dug 2 feet underground into Mother Nature herself, and put a piece of plastic in her, aka that sub pump. And it worked. It worked.
Yeah, man.
So that's, you know, I don't know. I feel an inch taller today.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. For people wondering, as someone who works with Justin every day and talks to him, he is dead serious, man. If you would have sat down there in front of that door for an hour and watched that pump work, I would have believed you.
Oh, it's satisfying.
Yeah.
It has like this little floaty thing, and when the water comes up, it just
Yeah.
water goes out.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me. I'm reading the second David Goggins book right now, and in that he had a grandpa, and after school his grandpa would give him like a list of things to do every day, and he would just try to half-ass his way through it to get to the end, so he could like play basketball with his friends or whatever. And then he said eventually something took over in his mind where him actually doing the task correct and delivering on it was like more satisfying than going out with his friends and everything. And it's just about seeing a job from start to finish, knowing you did a good job.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an addicting feeling. Like you're probably going to want to do that again. Like, you know, you're a homeowner. It's not going to be the last time you got to do some crap like that, right?
100%. And in my line of work, there's not a lot of completion. When I think of high button sports, it's like we're barely halfway through what we're trying to accomplish. I wouldn't even say we're a quarter way through of what we're trying to do. So there's not really a lot of accomplishing here. There's little, oh nice, we did this, we did that, but there's no like sense of accomplishment with this company. It's just head down, grind, horse blinders. Hopefully this happens. If not, we're going to keep working. So like I said, throughout my line of work and yours, there's just not a lot of sense of accomplishment in my day-to-day routine.
Yeah.
So to be able to have that sense of accomplishment of having a simple sub pump work at 2:30 in the morning during a rain, lightning, thunderstorm, hey, it's the little things, as they say. It's those little things that make your world go round and make my world go round. So it was a great little morning this morning, Monday, to just start off.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. I guess we could move into the Bill Burr, Jerry Seinfeld, The Great Outdoors Weekend. World-class comedy. I sense pain in a room very easily before it's coming, so I'm not a huge fan of amateur comedy because the sense of someone struggling makes me feel like it's my fault. If I'm up there, not up there, if I'm in a room and I see a comedian struggling, I feel like, Justin, man, you should have wrote him some jokes. You should have helped. It's very hard for me to watch. So I don't necessarily go to a lot of comedy shows because I just don't.
It's like kind of like an awkward environment, especially if it's not going well.
And if you experience that awkwardness, I experience it times 20 because it's hard to explain. Even in the Great Outdoors thing, we were outdoors in front of, I don't know, 10, 15,000 people, and there was a couple comedians that sucked, and you felt it, even though you're outdoors. Like, you feel it. It's just not enjoyable. But to have I don't say world lightly, to have world-class comedy right here in our backyard, Jerry Seinfeld, Bill Burr, right here in Halifax.
On the side of Citadel Hill?
It was funny. Bill Burr came out and he goes, "Is this a fundraiser to get you guys a goddamn stadium?" He's like, "Why are you sitting on a hill?"
Bro, I know.
Bill Burr was so good. Like, Bill Burr's material was good, sure. But I just loved his off the whim. Like, not that he was chirping, not that he was doing crowd work, but just off the rip, I'm just waiting for a horse to come over that hill. What the hell are you guys doing up there? You guys, it just so like, you could tell he's American because he talked a lot about like not the racial issues are obviously here in Canada, unfortunately, but he's very, he's an American comedian. He talked about like the KKK and, all this stuff.
Boston, born and bred, yeah.
And that's fine and dandy. But the stuff where he's talking about, like, he's like, what's the drink of choice here? Olin's? Okay, so Olin's, two people got drunk on the two ships and crashed into each other. You got the Halifax explosion. You can blame Olin's. Like, stuff like that, just like off the rip. Just so it's like, have you ever met someone where they don't have to try to be funny? They're just funny.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just part of their personality. Yeah. Just funny.
Like Bill Burr that's just what Bill Burr is. He's a completely different comedian than Jerry Seinfeld, and I love each of them for their different styles, I guess you could say.
What a weekend, eh? You start with Seinfeld and you finish with Burr.
Well, let me just do a little rant here on Jerry, Mr. Seinfeld. One, there's a quote out there: "Never meet your idols." That's a guy I never want to meet. Never want to meet him. You just want him to be in the distance and you want to enjoy his work. There's people out there that are figures that, kind of weird, but they're just not really, they don't seem human. You don't want that interaction to come true because, that could ruin the Seinfeld show for me. If I met Jerry Seinfeld, had a couple chats with him, I don't know. I want to leave Jerry alone. I want him to be on the TV. I want to see him on stage, and then that's my relationship with him. That's all I really want. But the relationship I'll say I have with Jerry Seinfeld is that 12, 13, 14-year-old kid after dinner, TBS, Seinfeld, family, sitting down, having a laugh for 30 minutes.
The whole fam?
Nah, mostly just me and my dad.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my relationship with Jerry. I remember just even after a long day, you know, school was never my forte, so I usually always came home pissed off. What am I doing in school? Yada, yada. But then just putting on Seinfeld and just having that distraction for 30 minutes and seeing a bunch of 4 idiot adults talk about absolutely nothing, oddly enough, just numbed my brain and allowed me just to forget about school and know, oh, man, there's another world out there, I guess you could say, that isn't necessarily school. Because you go to school and your whole life, you're just like, oh, man. Well, at least for me, you fail and you're like, I'm a loser, nothing.
Yeah.
You just yada, yada. But then you come home and you get to kind of escape in this Seinfeld world. It makes you realize, or at least made me realize, there's another world out there other than school.
Yeah, like when you're a kid in grade school, you literally feel like, okay, this is just my life. Like next year we go to grade 6, then 7, and then you just go up the ladder. Like the concept of like no school just doesn't sink in until you're in like junior high or whatever. Like, but in elementary, it's just school.
Even like hockey related to school, like, you know, oh, what team are you on? AAA, AA? Like you go to school and you'd still have a conversation about hockey, and you'd still kind of feel entrapped in the school education environment. But Seinfeld was just an escape. Bottom line, just an escape, and it still is today as an adult. I'll come home, you know, whatever time of day. I'll even chuck an episode on at lunch, and it just kind of takes you back to that nostalgic feeling of allowing you to escape and know, I guess life isn't, you know, so serious. Take it serious, but don't take yourself too serious, I guess is what it teaches me. But that's so serious. I mean, like we made that video. Did you see the video, High Button? Like,
yeah. Well, I've had to tell the story like 100 times in the past 3 years since I started here, so I knew it. But when you put that clip out, I was like, finally, I can just, you know, it's out there. Yeah.
So that's how important that show is to me. And there's people out there that, you know, hate Seinfeld, and I get it. And there's shows out there that I hate, and I hope you get it. But Seinfeld's my bread and butter, and if I can wrap my head around it for a good 30 minutes, sit down, numb out, watch it, have a laugh, get back to the real world, and take some of that Seinfeld humor with me, I think I'm going to be okay in this world. That's another reason I just don't want to meet him. Just you don't want to have an experience. You don't want to have an experience with him because he's kind of a dick. You don't want to have an experience with him where he like turns you off.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, oh man, that's my idol. He told me that I was an idiot.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like a painting. Like you don't, it's a masterpiece. You leave it be. You enjoy it for as long as you can.
But onto his act, tight. I love that he's clean. You know, there's so many comedians that go up there and they talk about blowjobs and getting that. You just, and you're just like, I get it. That's funny, kind of, but.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You want me to laugh? Like,
yeah. They just hear sex sells, and then that just becomes their entire thing.
It sells, but not in comedy. Like, it's just laziness. It's a lazy search for a punchline. And Jerry, just no swearing. Tight, clean, thoughtful bits. Just. It's hard to explain. I guess you just have to see it in person, but there was not a false note, even all the way down to his suit. Just professional. As soon as he got there, Sinatra was playing. I don't know who was playing the music there before Jerry and the openers came on, but it was like every day I'm hustling, or no, like that LMFAO
shuffling,
music from when I was 19, and I was just like, what's going on? And then just randomly 20 minutes before that first comedian came on, it was just Frank Sinatra the whole time. And I'm like, okay, Frank Sinatra, Jerry must be here. Like, there's no way Jerry would be on the premise, and then they're just playing LMFAO while he's back in the trailer. There's no way. So even from the music and even from his openers, very similar style of comedy. Yeah, there's the, a little bit dirtier, but the tie, the American observational comedy. Just it was an experience. You kind of feel like you're in a Seinfeld episode for an hour. And that's another thing. He was on there for an hour and a half. I had to take 2 pee breaks. It's just, that's a hero.
What was? Yeah,
hour and a half.
Yeah, man. Was that his first? It must have been his first time doing anything in Halifax.
No, he was here. Yeah, he was here. I saw him once before in Halifax.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it in the same spot, or was it at the stadium, or what?
Sorry, just 1 sec here. Thanks for the previous to last year. Thanks. It was at the Metro Center or Scotiabank Center, whatever it may be. But yeah, it was it just tight, world class. And the way I like to describe, same with Bill as well, is the guys before him, they were good. There was a couple bad ones, but there were a couple really great comedians out there that you laugh, you're paying attention. They're on there for 25, 30 minutes. You're like, oh man, great comedy. But then Jerry and Bill come out, and they're better than everyone combined times 10. They paint a picture for you. It might be, Bill's definitely offside, he's a comedian, but he still paints that picture for you to make you feel like you're in his head. It would have been a really cool experience to go to, like, yeah, maybe not actually. I don't want to say that. But it was just it was a really cool experience to go to and just sit and feel like you're in Bill Burr's head. Because he does that. Same with Jerry. Just 2 very annoyed individuals that look at the world and somehow paint a picture for you.
You're just like along for the ride for like an hour and a half, and that's how it goes. Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
you're along for their life, which is very relatable.
And did they take your phone? Right? They take your phone so you can't record set.
I'm happy you brought that up.
Yeah.
Jerry didn't care. Jerry said, take your phones out. I don't care. What are you going to do? Show someone and annoy them? Go for it. Jerry was all for it. Bill, not so much. So we get there, and the ladies are like, hey, you just have to lock up your phone. And they open up this case, and I'm just like, I'm going to trick these girls. They're not getting my phone. So I just go like a toaster. I go slide in, slide out. That's what I thought it was. It was just like, oh, yeah, I'll lock it. There you go. In, out. You'll unlock it somehow digitally when it's over.
Yeah.
And I go, all right, thanks. See, I put the phone in my pocket, and she goes, no, sir, you actually have to physically put it in the case, and you carry the case around, and the case locks. And I was like,
what? Really?
Yeah, I was pissed. Same with Sarah, Sebastian. We were all pissed.
Why are you pissed about that? Who cares?
Because that's my phone is. It's just like everyone. My phone is my weapon. That's my tool. It's me. It's your
need, third leg.
It's my third leg. I need that phone. I'm addicted. So, first thing you get in there, you're looking, okay, how do I open this thing? My brother, he could probably bench 3 plates. So he's he's like, Justin, give me it. I'll try to rip it open. He can't do it. Sarah's, I need my phone. What do I?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm there. I'm kind of mixed in between. I'm like, okay, how do I look at this? Do I go, I need my phone? Or do I kind of just embrace it? Because I don't remember the last time I didn't look at my phone for 45 minutes, other than like sleeping. Like, think about it.
Come on.
When was the last time you didn't look at your phone?
All the time.
No.
Yes, well.
Actually, you're right. You never text back right away. That's a good point. But me, I don't. I'm not sitting here going, no, look at me. I'm on my phone, business. I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. I'm embarrassed to say it, but
it's life.
I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
And so I get up to the top of the hill. We find our seat, and the next thing you know, that tick, that itch. All right, Justin, where's your phone? And then I go, oh yeah, it's not here. It's not here. So then I say to myself, okay, just see if you can last 10 minutes without thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, you're people watching. Going out to these public shows make you feel good because you see some of these people and Jesus, man, like what's chivalry? What is it when you like look after a woman?
Yeah,
like,
chivalry. Yeah.
Chivalry. Like you see, the Citadel Hill. It's steep. It's a little wet, and you see these guys just running up the hill, leaving their wives and girlfriends like 4 or 5 feet behind them, like not helping them up the hill. So what am I trying to say? Chivalry is
Yeah,
dead?
yeah. That's like the whole joke is like if someone does something like kind of like that, you're like, well, chivalry is like dead.
Yeah, chivalry is 100% dead.
Yeah.
Some of these morons up there just not even looking after their loved ones. You're just like, what are you guys doing? Help these people. Help your.
Well, what were you doing to look after Sarah?
I was
What-
right
what-
by her. Like we were walking up a hill. Like she
Right.
was literally side by side. Like I was holding her hand, like putting my hand on her back, pushing her up because it's slippery. You gotta. And you see some of these guys going up there with like 3 beer in their hand, just piling through. And you're just like, man, like the girls are walking up in like heels. You're just like, oh man. So, anyways, that made me feel better. I was like, oh, you don't even think about. It's not even a question, like, to make sure Sarah gets up that hill. Like, it's just you're with her. Anyways, that was one thing I noticed. But next thing you know, you're people watching, and you forget about your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I, oddly enough, not oddly, it's normal, I enjoyed it. I didn't have my phone on me for 3 hours, and I really enjoyed it. Refreshing. I walk down, I gotta use the washroom, I gotta get a beer, and I'm sitting there, and you usually to kill time, check Instagram, check Twitter, do what you gotta do. Didn't mind it. Had a conversation with the guy in line. How are you? Kind of beer are you getting? Oh, nice. You're from Antigonish. How was the drive in?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that little moment where you can't hide. You can't put your head down and text. You can't take a photo. You can't. It was refreshing. I missed it. So the night essentially went from being pissed off at Bill Burr because he took my phone to kind of loving him to kind of hating him again because afterwards everyone's looking for this guy to unlock your bag to get your phone, which took another 30 minutes because everyone's I got to get out. Here's my phone. Unlock the bag for me. So that sucked. So yeah, it went from hating Bill Burr to loving Bill Burr to hating him again. So he's in my bad books right now.
He made you face addiction.
He did, yeah.
I mean, when you break it down, it's pretty simple. So when you golf, you check your phone like frequently?
No, golf's different. I'll check it like once every 2 holes, maybe once a hole. Just
really?
As I'm teeing off.
Dude, you got to play a full game with that thing just like at home or something.
Business never sleeps, man.
I know. Well,
I take pride in being quick to respond to emails, calls, texts.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. When you got your phone back, what was the most important thing you missed? Was there anything important? Did it affect your life in any way?
Another great point, Jeff. You're getting good at this. Didn't miss anything. Couple texts. You texted me, said you're taking day off work. Like nothing urgent. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Nothing urgent.
Yeah. Your life was not affected at the end of that by having your phone missing for 3 hours.
Not at all. It was fantastic. I came home, went to bed, had a great experience because I took it all in. Not that I didn't take everything in with Jerry because I did have my phone with Jerry, but Bill Burr, there wasn't a false note that I missed because I was watching it all. There's nothing else to do than look and laugh and you look at the drunk people, that stuff. But excuse me, it was great. It's just an overall great money well spent. In today's life, when it's customer service is pretty much gone, a lot of quality's gone, a lot of caring is gone. To see I don't say world lightly, to see 2 world-class comedians come to Halifax, Nova Scotia and absolutely kill it, it was a treat. And it was a weekend that I'm not going to forget.
This guy, man, he starts the summer with a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals in Boston, and he finishes it off with a couple of A-listers in his backyard.
Yeah. Work hard, play hard. And it was great, too. Like, these new high-button shirts, like, they're big. So, the logo's big, I mean.
Yeah.
And you can't, miss it. So to have, that's kind of our crowd.
Yeah.
Have a couple people come up, say, hey, High Button Sports.
My friend sent me a picture of I got to show it to you now. He sent me a picture of you, standing outside, and it was like it's from his parents' balcony, and he just sniped the High Button logo from across the street up on the building. He was like, "That's Justin."
See, it works.
Yeah, and he said that.
I like it. I wish the eyeballs are. I wish people would talk to me. Mm-hmm. I hate the eyeballs and then just head down, keep moving. Am I intimidating?
No, not to me, but I don't know.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't wonder why that is. Some people just like to be, seen, not heard, I guess. But who knows?
That's fair.
I don't even really know what that means. But yeah,
How much time are we at right now?
33.
Should we get into the queue?
It's definitely a story, man. Yeah. Well, it kind of was announced a few months ago, wasn't it? Like that they were thinking about doing this.
I don't know.
I thought we already had this discussion. Maybe not, though.
Can't get comfy.
Official now.
Yeah. No fighting in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League.
It's a bad look. Like, no two ways you slice it. It's a bad look.
I'm just trying to see the benefits from it. When I saw it, I go, okay, the gauntlet's down. Where are the benefits? And I didn't see any. Like, I think a lot of professionals think it's going to keep the game safer, which it won't. There's people out there that play this beautiful game of hockey that consider themselves agitators, rats. And then there's an opposite player called an enforcer to take care of those, weasels, rats. And to eliminate the enforcer and allow these rats, weasels, agitators, whatever you want to call them, to run free, it's going to be a problem.
Well, you got to figure the Q brass have heard that argument, right? Like, I wonder what their response is to that.
Let me just say this. I'll say this once, and I want to be very clear. If I were a senior ref, senior linesman in the Q, CHL, I don't know how the payroll works. Probably linesmen, because linesmen are the ones that have to get in there and break shit up. I would be asking for a significant raise. If you're the one that has to calm down a game because these guys aren't able to let out the violence of fighting, you're going to have a lot tougher of a job in front of the net after a whistle. You're going to have a lot tougher of a job in between periods when guys are going to the room and they want to get a piece of each other. You're going to have a lot tougher job in the playoffs when everything is on the line and you can't let the boys just let all their anger out.
Yeah.
There is going to be such a challenge for these refs moving forward into these first couple of months with the season. I just think it's going to be a problem. It's going to be extremely hard for the officials to manage it because good refs know how to ref a game. And part of that process of reffing a good game is to let the boys play.
It's like managing a game.
Sure. Let the boys play. But when you got to let the boys play, you have to something has to give, I guess you could say. You're in this confined thing we like to call a rink. You can't go anywhere unless you go to the tunnel down the room. But you're on the bench or you're on the ice, and when you're on the ice, there's boards surrounding you. So all you have is a ball of energy moving. Ball of energy, ball of energy, ball of energy. And eventually in a game of hockey, that ball of energy can become too quick, whether it be the speed, whether it be the emotion, whether it be the coaches. Yeah, there's too much energy in one location on a hockey rink. And especially here in Canada, the physicality of hockey is increased more than Europe, more than anywhere else. But to have that ball of energy moving, something has to give. And if something's not going to give, how's it going to be taken out? It's going to be taken out with a little fucking spear. It's going to be taken out with a little slew foot. It's going to be taken out with a little elbow. It's going to be taken out with a little
brawl,
little skate to the back of the heel.
Yeah.
Us as humans, we're warriors. We're human. We fight for a living to get what's ours. These guys want to make to the NHL. They want to make a name for themselves. You got to play physical. And unfortunately, that's kind of where it ends. You can only play physical. You can't fight.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a problem for the refs. It's too daunting of a task to allow these kids to go around and not and not let them fight. I just don't see a positive outcome for it. It's not going to keep anyone safer.
No.
It's going to keep headshots higher. It's going to keep knees higher. It's going to keep a little something like that higher. Makes the job tougher for the coaches too.
Oh my! It just
Coaches have the most ego. Think about it. You're the coach of a Q team. Your best player just gets a knee on knee from the greasiest fourth line left winger on the other team. As a coach, what do you say?
Yeah.
What do you what do you do? Okay, boys, number 7 just injured our best player. Let's go hit him. It's like that's part of the job anyways. You got to hit him.
Yeah.
You can't do anything more now.
Yeah.
You a threat of saying if you do that again, I'm going to take your freaking head off. You can't say that anymore because you physically can't. You could do a flying elbow at a guy, but you'll get suspended forever. But a nice fight, 5 minutes, sit in the box. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
There needs to be like some sort of outlet. Like with a game with that much aggression, there needs to be just like one little outlet where it's like, there's a threat held over your head of like, I could punch your face in if you continue to do this. They're just cutting that thread off at the knees. So now when the same plays that have been happening happen, like you said, what's gonna happen? There's gonna be fights on the way back to the locker rooms. Like these guys, and they've been able to fight, for years now. So it's not like this is like they're going to have to just learn to cut that out of their whole thing. Like how do you think that's going to go smoothly? These are grown men who are fighting for their lives on a hockey rink.
It was such a great, I was probably in 4 or 5 fights my junior career. It's very simple. It's very similar to the sump pump afterwards. The level of satisfaction that you get. It's like, okay, I stood up for myself, or I stood up for my teammate, and the job is done. Win or lose the fight, you go into that penalty box proud. I'm only saying that from my perspective. I definitely lost my number of fights. I might have won 1 or 2. But being a fighter on a team, it's an actual job. And there's a level of satisfaction sticking up for your team, sticking up for yourself, and essentially allowing a game to keep flowing. That's the thing. With energy, moving in an anger direction, it's going to create problems for the skilled players to move around. There's just going to be too many cheap shots. It's just going to get out of hand. I'm not saying I'm looking into the future and I know exactly what's going to happen, but something along those lines. Mark my words. When does the season start? October or something? It's August 14th right now. We'll play this clip back it's August 14th. We'll play this clip back in October when the first thing happens in the queue where they're like, that's a kind of a result of no fighting, because it just will happen. Yeah. You need to be playing hockey with just a little bit of fear. You need to go through life with a little bit of fear. If you're not going through life waking up with a little bit of fear going, if I don't do this, I could be homeless, I could lose everything. You need to go through life with a little bit of fear. Same thing with playing hockey. You need to play hockey with just a little bit of fear. Okay, where's number 7? He's out. Okay, there he is. Okay, now I can kind of do this. He's on the bench. Okay, he's out there. Okay, maybe I'll just dump and change. I don't want to go in the corner with him. That's an actual element. That's a thought process and not an average, but an above average hockey player's head. When you bring physicality into a game, fear is 100% a factor. There's just no. Look at Toronto. Toronto just brought in Reeves. We had Batherson on. I'm like, playing Toronto, like, is it going to be a lot tougher now? He goes, yeah, man, Toronto's going to be tough. Playing Reeves, going into that building, there's a factor now. So eliminating that from the role of a Q team, hey.
And that's coming from a former Q All-Star, folks. So, you
Batherson?
You.
Oh, Q All-Star. But no, 8 games played All-Star. Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's we gotta have faith in our boy Jim Midgley there. He'll have to figure it out. A new challenge for the new coach.
No, Midge knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about Midge. It's the other teams I'm worried about. Midge is gonna knock it out of the park.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, it's not much else to say on that one. Yeah, it'll be easy. Keep your eyes on it. We'll have a first row seat to it though this year. The Mooseheads should be pretty good again. Now they're gonna have to play with this new style of hockey.
Yeah. Jose Bautista. How much time?
42.
Jose Bautista. essentially represents two things in my life. A unbelievable bat toss and taking a hit, getting almost knocked out at second base from a guy that plays for Texas. Two memories, but one thought. That one thought is a guy that has heart. Throwing that bat, hitting that home run. I was a broke college student, living with Ben and Kevin, right next to AAA Pizza there. What's that? Jubilee? Yeah, right on Jubilee. No money. So in terms of excitement, you look for two things, women and sports. That's pretty much the only two things that get your blood blowing. Not blowing. Oh, blowing.
Pumping.
And that night, when Jose Bautista hit that homer in Rogers Center and threw that bat, looked like a million miles in the air. That's my Joe Carter moment. Mm-hmm. You look at the Jays and Joe Carter to win the World Series home run. As of right now, actually no, when did they win the World Series? 91?
92, 93.
Okay, I guess I was alive, but I don't remember it. But my Jays memory that will be stamped in my head until they win a World Series is that Jose Bautista bat flip.
Oh,
and
yeah.
who he was as a player as well. I know they don't retire his number just based on a bat flip and taking a punch to the jaw. Just one of those guys who always stepped up in the moment. And I will say this about the Jays organization, really classy for bringing out, his teammates, even bringing out Gibby. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Like Gibby,
yeah.
You see Gibby out there. His collar's out. He's all messy.
Yeah.
He got like 4 buttons undone.
He said it was the first time he's been in the building since he got fired. So
see, that's Gibby.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go back?
Yeah.
That's Gibby. Because you don't want me? All right, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
That's Gibby right there. And to have all of his teammates there, just a class act by the Jays. Really, really, really well done ceremony.
Oh, they do things right, man. They're no joke.
And it's kind of nice too that they're actually playing meaningful baseball now. Like I know it was sold out; it'd be sold out whether or not the Jays sucked or not. But I know they lost the game, unfortunately. But just to have meaningful baseball right now being played in Toronto during that ceremony, very, very cool thing. Cool thing for Jose. And his family. Just knowing that you signed your last contract with a Canadian team that you'll be a legend forever in. Got a mural on the wall.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you see that mural?
Kidding me? That thing's like 80 feet high.
I know. It's sick.
That thing's not coming down forever.
No. That thing's unreal. Yeah.
And you ask, you go, what is it that you love about your job, Justin? And, it's high button, but it's sports. Sports has the element to take you out of the real world, very similar to Seinfeld and how it's an escape. Sports to me is an escape, and there's really cool special moments that allow you to escape. And to see Jose Bautista's jersey be retired, you see him cry, you see some fans crying, you see the city of Toronto, 40,000 people on their feet cheering for one man, aka a hero in that city.
Definitely, man.
It's just a moment that you don't remember, almost like this weekend. Sports have the ability to allow you to escape your everyday life and look at something and go, wow, there's hope. There's hope to live in a world where you could be a superhero too.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
That next mural is going to be yours, buddy.
That's why fantasy football is so addictive. It's because people actually think they're GMs.
Oh, I know.
They escape from their actual job and they think they're GMs of a football team. It's an escape.
Wait until High Button buys a team and we have to manage.
I'm not going to be managing a team. You can do it.
Oh, man.
But a really cool ceremony. And I don't know if there's ever been... Actually, yeah, I think did they retire Edwin?
No, they haven't done his number. Well, it's the whole level of excellence. That's the big deal.
So did they retire his number? Or is it just...
I know that they definitely put his name up on the level of excellence. That was kind of the big ceremony because they haven't done that in a long time. Like there hasn't been anyone like from this era to do it. So Jose was number one. People would make an argument for Edwin, which I think would be an interesting argument to make. And yes, he is. He has his moments too. But yeah, the Jays, they do it right, and they got that new stadium or the semi-new stadium, so it's kind of nice. Hopefully, they can win a playoff game.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Do you remember last year when we were in Moncton?
Yeah.
The heartbreak.
Yankees suck. At least we're not going through what they're
True.
going through.
True.
But no, the Jays are heartbreakers too.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can put a cool ceremony on for the fans, give us something to cheer about, I guess that's something rather than losing a wild card game. I hope they win, but
They just need to prove it, man.
my whole life they've just been a letdown.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. But it's the beauty of baseball.
What is?
164 games, 62 games. It'll come again next year, you know?
Yeah, but can only give so much.
I remember how excited you were that Moncton weekend watching the wild card.
I bought a Jays jersey like an
Oh,
idiot.
yeah. You did. In the Celtics jersey. Where's the Celtics jersey?
It's up in the closet. But yeah, like I bought a jersey. That's how pumped I was. If they make a wild card game again, I'll wear it. But yeah, it's Toronto sports, man. It's a tough go, tough market.
That's why the Raptors victory was so big. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was big.
Yeah. That was big.
That was massive. How much time are we at? I just want to give a little.
We're at 50 or 49.
So I do want to say, in terms of the hiring process, we are looking for people out in PEI now as well. I know in the video that I did put out, only said Port Hood, Cape Breton, and Moncton, but now PEI as well. So make sure if you are in the PEI, Summer side, Charlottetown, basically UPEI. Where's UPEI? Somewhere?
Charlottetown. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're in like the UPEI area and you're a mature student looking for some cash on the weekends to stream, commentate, whatever it may be, reach out to us. What's the email, Jeff?
JeffHighbutton@gmail.com.
So PEI as well, if you're listening, we already have a couple interviews lined up. We're going to be traveling at the end of this month, the end of August, to do in-person interviews. So get your resume in as soon as possible so we can line up those interviews and then we can get you working for High Button Sports. There's going to be a lot of tournaments up in PEI as well, so you won't just be doing regular season games. We'll be up there where you can be doing tournaments as well and working with the main crew here in the HRM because we'll travel up there. So yeah, PEI, get your resumes in. Yeah, because it's hiring season.
Yeah.
High Button Sports.
And I did get a couple messages about people in HRM wanting to, jump on board, and that will happen at some point, but it's more that'll be more of like a closer to the season type of thing, hiring again within HRM. We just gotta make sure everything's sorted first and we're ready to go, but it's only up from here, so I'm sure there'll be opportunities for the HRM kids and young adults as well, and adults, whoever. Yeah. We go everywhere. It doesn't matter your age. So
this is a great company. High Button Sports. It's got a ring to it. All right, let's wrap it up. Little mud on the tire. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Everyone listening, you're the best. We're out.
yeah.
Peace.